Today we're talking about burnout and some mistakes that can lead to burnout and how to avoid them. Okay, so I know that in the art community in general, there's like a bunch of pressure to kind of like improve and to improve fast. We have been bombarded with a bunch of things on the internet of like professional artists and younger artists that are really good and all of that stuff. I think also the thing of PewDiePie kind of like improving super quickly ended up contributing to that whole thing of improving, right? So I kind of wanted to talk about this because I've seen some people that I feel like they take improving way too far. Every artist that has been doing their art for a decent amount of time has probably faced burnout at one point or another, and that's totally normal. And so I think that I'm going to be talking more about how to minimize the amount of burnout because it's inevitable, it's going to happen to everyone, but how to minimize it and not make it last months or years. So I think that the first thing that causes burnout is having like a lot of repetition, because essentially I think that we're very complicated creatures, okay? Like our brain likes to feel comfortable, but not like repeating the same thing over and over and over again. A really repetitive kind of thing, you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. But I think that for artists, it's just kind of like we practice the same thing over and over again. We study the same subjects over and over again. We use the same medium. Staying in this repetitive cycle is also kind of not good, like it's not helping us. And I think that essentially when you have this repetitive cycle of just doing the same thing over and over again, eventually your brain is going to get bored and you're not going to have fun anymore doing it. That's the main reason that burnout kind of starts in the first place. Study different things, like if you're studying anatomy and you're really focusing on that thing specifically, it's like great, but like maybe study another muscle or study another like area of the body, or maybe move on for a little bit practicing shapes and then come back to anatomy, because that's like a way to like mix up your, let's say, like study routine, and I think that is a way to not be doing the same thing over and over again. I feel like another thing is that if you do stuff like still life, don't do the same subjects all the time. Like if you're drawing an apple for one class and maybe draw like a pear, I don't know. This next point, I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's something that everyone has heard already. It's unrealistic goals, basically having the wrong mindset, and you're essentially setting yourself up for failure because you want to achieve these really big goals, but you give yourself too little time, or you don't really have like a plan of like how you're gonna get to that goal. So when you don't end up reaching that goal, you get really frustrated and disappointed, and it can lead to burnout, right? It can contribute to that. Just focusing on smaller goals, giving yourself like a reasonable amount of time, and taking it easy and being patient. And I think that's really all you can do, because you know yourself best and you know what you can learn in a certain amount of time, so you have to make your goals according to that. I also think that it is really important to give yourself a decent amount of time, because sure, you could learn a certain thing in a really short amount of time, but if you learn it over a longer period of time, you tend to remember it better and to actually be able to apply it to like the things that you want to, apply it to. Next thing that we're going to talk about is not knowing how to deal with failure. I think it's like a skill that you have to learn over time to be able to like allow yourself to fail and to be able to be okay with that, because we're human. We're not machines. We're not perfect. Everyone has those pieces that they don't like or that they spend a lot of time on and they like hate it. And there will always be those things in art, and I really do think that we need to learn how to accept that, because it's a normal part of being an artist, and you will have those pieces. It's impossible not to have those pieces. And I think that, everyone learns a lot from those pieces, because if you look at them and you're like, okay, what did I not like about this piece, or how can I do this better the next time? It helps you. So I think that people need to deal with the failure. They need to like accept it and like be like, okay, I didn't like this, but I can like learn from it and understand why I didn't like it, so that in the future I can be like better. I don't know. Just not being able to deal with like disappointment or like all that stuff. I think that contributes a lot to burnout, because you get so frustrated that you just like quit. And so I think that it's very important to know how to accept it and learn from it and move on and get better. This is our last point, but probably the most important one, is not having fun, not really enjoying art. If you're gonna study and do that, like that's super important, but a lot of the time it can be really boring. And I think for the sake of avoiding burnout and like just having like fun studying so that you do it more often and it's not such like, it doesn't feel like homework or like a chore that you have to do, is to make it fun. Like you just make it fun, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to draw like this little character that has a lot of this certain type of shape, I don't know. And like that, you practice shapes. I don't know, there are different ways. There are a lot of different exercises that for me, I think have really improved my art and have made it more fun. They're not boring exercises. I could talk about that in the future, but right now I'm just gonna keep it simple of the thing of, make the studies fun for you. And obviously, I think everyone is different. What is fun for one person might be like horrible for another person. Ask yourself what drove you to like want to draw in the first place. Like what kind of thing did you see, or what did you, I don't know, like what part of art is like cool to you and interesting that you want to like, that's why you wanted to like pick up a pencil in the first place. And I think that knowing that can really help you make the exercises more fun and more like entertaining for you, and so that you can, like actually have a good time studying and learning and not being miserable and treating it like homework or like a chore. And I think that if you can really do that and have fun and, do all of that stuff, it can really help to avoid burnout, because you're actually going to be having fun and it's not going to feel like a chore or something repetitive that you're doing over and over again for the sake of like doing it over and over again. If you make the exercises fun, it can really encourage you to do it more often, which will later lead to more improvement in that aspect of whatever the heck you're practicing. One more thing about this point, I think that when you're having fun, it's also easier, it's so much easier to let go of that pressure to improve and to like make masterpieces all the time. And because you're not doing it for like the result necessarily, you're doing it more because you like doing it, Having fun is really important, because it can also help you with this thing of the pressure, so that you feel less pressure, you can actually enjoy yourself. And I think that ultimately that will lead to more improvement in the future and in the long term. Now for the bonus tip for anyone that stayed until the end. If you watched the video until this point, thank you. So now we're gonna get into our tip. So the last tip that I have here for you guys today is taking breaks. I think that this can be really hard for some people. I think that for some people they can feel guilty or like they're quitting or like they failed in a certain way by taking a break. And I think that this kind of pressure to improve and this whole thing of like being productive, you can almost feel like, oh, you're lazy. You shouldn't feel guilty for taking a break because taking breaks are super important for everything. And I think that as an artist, it can really help you. We need to normalize that more, of that it's okay to step away for a little bit, to take a break, to take it easy for a few weeks, a week. I don't know how much you need. Taking breaks can look different for different people. Like for some people it can be picking up a new hobby. For other people it can mean leaving art altogether for a little bit and then doing something else and then coming back. For some people it can be as simple as changing mediums, and that's all they really need. And then as an artist, you need that. You need a break. Everyone needs breaks. So I feel like you shouldn't feel guilty for taking a break. I think that for me personally, taking breaks looked like picking up new hobbies. I did stuff with clay, and I really enjoyed just learning more about how to use clay and also different sports and all that stuff. Just moving on from painting and drawing for a little bit and focusing on something else really did help me. I think it did help me come back stronger and more motivated. I think it can really help you just gain back motivation and even get inspired. One more thing that I want to add to this is that I think that it can also help you just, find joy and happiness from other places, because art isn't everything. The world is so big and there's so many things that you can do. And I think that why would you not want to find another thing that makes you happy, And I think that this thing of the taking breaks gives you a perfect opportunity to just learn about new things and pick up new hobbies and just have fun with other things. So I think that this thing of taking breaks is really important, and you can also just learn so many new things and discover so many different hobbies that you might really like to do. So why would you not want to do that? With that, I think that we're done with the video. I'm so sorry for my mic. It was having a lot of problems, so I'm sorry. If you liked this video, consider subscribing. I hope this video resonated with you in some way, that it can help you with burnout and everything. I hope that, I really hope that everyone in this video tries the thing of taking a break, because I don't think it's a thing that a lot of people do. So yeah.